Welcome back. This is part 3 of the basics, getting you up and running in your POS system, and probably the most important one out of the lot. This will explain how to use our editing buttons to be able to write notes, create an order, custom order, and get out of trouble basically, and make sure you charge the client for everything that you actually serve them for. And the buttons we're looking at are these down the bottom here. So where you see the start again, insert modifier, these buttons here next to the big green end sale button, these are the most important buttons you're going to need. And I'll explain. Okay, so let's start with basic an order. I'm going to put a cappuccino with soy milk, sugars. Being a good Italian boy, I like to have what I call a corretto, correct, which is basically adding vodka or grappa in the coffee. Now, I don't have a button for that. I can create one, but to get me out of trouble while the client's in front of me, I can just go insert modifier, and I can type in there, add vodka. Just a standard keyboard. All our buttons are here that we need. I'm going to charge $5 for it, so I'm going to put 500. Oh, too much. Let's do $5. And all I need to do is press enter. Voila! Now you can see it's put as a dash underneath the cappuccino. It doesn't mean minus. That means these are just options and modifiers, and they're usually spelt out, add vodka. So if it makes sense to you here, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If it makes sense to you here and you're reading it and you can understand what the barista's got to make, it'll make sense to the guy in the kitchen and the barista. So what I've done is I've added my vodka for $5 out of the price, and my total price is now $10. Okay, so I changed my mind. I don't want to put the vodka in there. Next to the insert modifier, I have a minus button. So I'll simply click on what I want to take out and or tap it on the screen with your finger and click minus, and it gets rid of it. Okay, so the importance of the insert modifier is that wherever I click along the insert modifier is that it'll follow the main item. Now you can have coffees printing on one printer, you can have food printing on another. So it's very important that when you're actually putting a note for a particular item, click on the item, click insert modifier, type in your modifier, and basically you'll see that it falls in line and follows the item. If I put a flat white, lunch, almond milk, 1 sugar, okay. If I want to minus that whole product, I don't want to sell that coffee. If I click on just the vodka and I hit minus, it'll just minus the vodka. If I want to get rid of the whole cappuccino, I click on the cappuccino, click minus, and it'll get rid of all the options as well as the cappuccino that goes with it. So it keeps you nice and organized there. Okay, so if I really make a mess of the order, and I just want to start again will basically clear that screen and allow you to put through the order again. It's as simple as that. So those functions there are your editing functions. Very, very important. Last thing to know about these editing functions, and I'll show you a difference between the editing functions and basically an open drink or an open food button. So above the editing functions, you also got these buttons here, which are pre-programmed types of buttons. So if you want to charge a client a surcharge for his credit card on this, you can click adds a surcharge. If I want to get rid of it, I can get rid of it minus. You might have seen earlier, I can give a 10% discount. I can only use that button once, so it won't allow me to give any massive discounts, especially if you're a staff member. That's very important. And if I don't want it, I can just minus that off the screen as well. So again, if the order makes sense to you there, when you end the sale and $10 cash, put the sale through, it'll make sense when it prints the dockets for the barista and for the kitchen. Okay, so we'll go back to our main screen. It's printing our dockets. There's our change, $5. Fantastic. We're ready for the next sale, and away we go. Last thing to point out is that you'll see this blue button on the bottom here, open drink and open salad, open sandwich, and probably even an open food button. The difference with this is that this is an item on its own. It does not follow the printer. It only follows the default printer we tell it to print to. And generally, it'll print to the items in that category, and that's why we separate them as open food and open drink. The open drink will print to the drinks printer. The open food will print to the kitchen printers. So if I want to sell a new muffin today, for $7, the open food will treat it as its own item, and it tells you it's open food at the beginning. That's a big difference. Although they look the same, they actually work differently. The difference is the open food will generally put in a couple of characters beforehand. Okay, so these are the most important buttons that you'll probably be using. Again, if it makes sense to you here, it'll make sense to the barista. Insert modifier is your best friend. Open foods gets you out of trouble. minus if you make a mistake, and if you really foul things up, you've got your start again button. Great. Thank you for watching, and I hope you understand now how the editing functions work.